Blessings, blessings. Thank you for joining in. Like, tag, share, invite others in. Blessings, blessings, blessings. We appreciate you joining in with us on tonight. We have, for the last couple of weeks, been dealing with matters of the heart. And I wasn't sure which aspect of it we were going to deal with today until about an hour ago, just sitting here and thinking about people and situations, and that's when a silent death came to mind. A silent death. Many of us, as we're dealing with the matters of the heart, are dying in silence because we do not either know how to share what's on the heart, are not sure of who to share the heart with, or how much. And in doing that, we're not realizing that we're messing with ourselves internally. And I have a lot to read to you tonight about the parts of the body that are affected by the matters of the heart. And we feel and we're getting frustrated because all of a sudden we're just getting sick out of nowhere. All of a sudden, our desire to do or be with or go there, it has started to dwindle. We're more laughing, excited about being with ourselves than we are about with being with other people, which is not a good thing. We were not created to be alone. We just weren't. And so a lot of times when we're dealing with the matters of the heart, as we say to many people, even when we're counseling, you want love, but you don't want to give your heart. There's no way that's going to happen because the heart is the requisition for what you're looking for. The heart is what draws. The inner part of you is what draws. That similarity that you feel in spirit is what draws. And so there is something that always brings you to the point of where you want to be. The issue is therefore after, once you're there, feeling like it's going to be okay, and then out of nowhere, devastation comes. And while many people will dare to say to you, get over it, or say to you, you're going to be all right, it's kind of hard for you to tell um, if I'm going to be all right if you don't even know who I am now. It's also harder for you to say, or I should say, cold of you to say, get over it, because there aren't many deaths that you can experience where you will say, you just got over it. Death is something that we are. Hey, cousin. Hey, apostle. How are you? I love you. Um, there are, hey, Tika, there are many people who are dealing with matters of the heart and don't realize that silently they are dying within. There are people that are walking. They got the show, what, Dead Man Walking, but that's a real thing. There are some dead men walking, whether it be male or female. There's some dead men walking because of the hurt, the trauma, the devastations that they have experienced in their lives that tugged at the heart, that ripped the heart apart, that made them wonder. And, we have to be mindful when talking to others, be more sensitive, use that measure of discernment that God has given everyone, and try to um, see what is not being said. Many people say, how do you do that? I will listen and listen and listen and be quiet and have feelings and still remain quiet until I get to the point and say, now, can I say something? And so when I start talking, it's like I'm letting you know that I heard what you said, what they said, and what we said. And here's where we go. And I'm on the side of what's right, no matter what. I don't care who it is. My children did not always like that aspect, but they can appreciate it more now. You want to be on the side of what's right, not on your favorite person's side, because many times that can lead you to a whole negative path that you never thought you would have to get into. Dealing with, let me tell you the definition that the Oxford Dictionary gave me about the heart. It said it is a hollow muscular organ that pumps the blood through the circulatory system by rhythmic contraction and dilation. It is the central or innermost part of something. It is the central or innermost part of something. There are ways to know if someone is good-hearted or not. Knowing that humor does not come at the expense of others. They give time. It gives without expecting recognition. And that's a big one. Many people find that what they thought was love was just another avenue of seeking validation, because you did it just for someone to be able to say good job, or oh man, that was good that you did that. It was good that you said that. But not doing it freely and without expecting anything in return. That's the heart. I have some more, but that's the heart. It is the core of a person. Many times, and I use this example often, when somebody's talking to you and you got to go somewhere, but you don't want them to feel like what they're saying to you is not important. What you say to them, okay, come on, get to the core. What's the main part of this? Help me, because I don't want to just walk away. Let me know what the main part of this is. And that is what the heart is to every human being. The core, that main part. That's where everything flows, even according to scripture. That's where everything flows from. People say things and then they say to you, oh, hey, Goddaughter, Apostle Goddaughter. It is not, I'm trying to be politically correct, but that doesn't work for me. You're a liar if you say to somebody after you've said what you said, oh, I didn't mean that. I was just mad. When people are mad, they say anything. Not true. Because if it's not in your heart, it can't come from anywhere. What comes from you is what's in you. And so it had to start from somewhere, that core, that innermost part, when people say that. So don't say to me, I'm not the one. Don't say to me, oh, I was just mad. I didn't realize what I was saying. You're a liar. You are a storyteller. You're a liar because you say what's in you. What's in you is what comes out. That's why we say to people all the time, don't you be the human garbage can. Why does everybody feel like they can come to you with mess? So we want to cover our own hearts and guard our hearts from things that would cause us to be, even in our best intention, being evil. Let not our good be evil spoken of is the word. And so you want to be careful and you want to be mindful. And so we want to remember that the heart is the core, it's the innermost part. It is you. The heart is you. You exude from the heart. The heart is you. And so I've given you the definition of the heart. And when I talk about a silent death, as we started saying, that silent death, people are walking around with you and they're smiling and they are dying. Blessings, Apostle. Dying inside. They are dying. They're walking around, and each time somebody hurts them and they don't deal with it, that's another part. That's another avenue of death. That is another measure of death. It is, as I will tell you, the thing that deals with the body parts, your emotions. This is still connected to matters of the heart. This is still connected to loving the me that I see, because all of this is who you are. When you want to now get to the core of a person, you want to learn their heart. You want to know what their intentions are, what their agenda is, if they have one. And so we have to be mindful. And so when I was looking, and taking Lessons Women of God and some of the college courses I was taking, even with psychology, and they were letting us know that, did you know that this emotion affects this part of the body and this emotion? And I never really considered it until I was well into my 30s. It was about then I was in college for like the second or third time. But just knowing that various emotions, I'm gonna read to you what I got from, I don't want to take credit for somebody else's word. Emotions. This is what I got from Wikipedia. It says emotions affect a wide range of body parts, including the head, the heart, the stomach, and the muscles. Now, while they said more, that part stood out to me. Why? Because these are the main parts that help you get through your day to day situations: your head, your brain, how you think, what you remember, how you recall, what you're going to do next, what you're going to say. The heart, where everything is stored and comes from and flows as a river. The stomach, which is the most unsettling part to me of the body, because sometimes nausea and different things are sinking in, and you're like, where'd that come from? Or many times we have been on our way to church, and one of us will say, wow, our stomach is really turning, which is an indicator that something is getting ready to happen. And the muscles which are also controlled with that heart and that mind, they help you tell your body what else you're getting ready to do. And so when you're dealing with different emotions, for instance, stress can cause muscle tension in the neck and shoulders. Now tell me y'all ain't felt that before. That's not new. Stress, because I know me, especially if I'm trying to refrain from responding to something, tension will formulate in the neck and in the shoulder area. I can tell you because I get that thing massaged out every week at therapy. Fear. Fear can lead to an upset stomach and a rapid heartbeat. Fear can lead to an upset stomach or a rapid heartbeat. Now, this word I had never heard before. I don't think I had, but topographies, topographies, topographies. They are the arrangement of the natural and artificial physical features of an area, where areas like your upper chest, your gut, your throat, showing activation for emotions like happiness, disgust, and sadness. So you messing with your throat, you messing with your ability to say something, your ability to formulate decent conversation, because stress already has your shoulders and your neck all jacked up, and you so focused on it. And we don't realize that it is our emotions. Sometimes we wake up and we're like, man, I feel like this or I feel like that. How did you go to bed? Where was your thought process when you went to bed? How was it when you woke up this morning? Did you wake up grateful? Did you wake up complaining? Did you wake up wishing you didn't? Because that's a real place. When we're dealing and when we're having these kinds of thoughts, we're messing with different aspects of our body, and we're wondering why we're deteriorating so quickly, or we are retreating back within ourselves. And it is because of the different emotions that we experience from day to day, different emotions that we never got to deal with in our childhood, emotions that we were told we better not say nothing about from the household. Even in some relationships, people are made to fear sharing what they feel and what they are going through when they're not in the presence of others. And so when we consider our heart, we are causing our own silent death by internalizing things and not saying. Now, I was brought up, no matter what you were going through, you went to your leader and that was it. Well, I'm of the opinion, I said, I am of the opinion that Jesus and therapy work real good. Jesus and therapy work real good. There are some things that I have been able to say to a therapist that I would never in a million years feel comfortable saying to anyone else. Why? Because there's no room for judgment and condemnation. Their whole purpose is to be there and help you work through what it is you're feeling and what it is you're going through. And so, why die when you can live? I'm not saying anything, about those who, um, unfortunately, who have felt like church was not the place where you felt you could go and share. I really am sorry for you. I do know that the church is an active place where you can go and receive prayer. You can go and receive good Bible-based counseling. This is why I said Jesus and therapy, because I have the church and I have my therapist. And when I feel like I need one or the other, that is where I go, because I want to be all of me all the time. When I'm trying to help somebody else through, most times I put me aside. And by the time I come back to me, I'm already wiped out. I'm already drained. I'm already feeling, like I should have maybe held back a little bit. I don't know how to do that too good. The word starts with P. Abazu, when you spell that word regarding severe stress. Oh, photographies? Yeah. I'm trying to get the right page. I want to give you the right thing. I don't have one with P, but I have topographies. TOPOGRAPHIES. And then I said stress is what messes with your neck and your shoulders. I hope I answered you, Apostle. I'm looking back just to make sure I didn't leave anything out. But that is the closest thing I had that would sound like I'm saying P, but I was saying T. Yes. When we consider the biblical definition of what the heart is, it is considered to be the seat of life or strength. The seat of life or strength, mind, soul, and spirit. There are so many things that we experience on a day-to-day basis. And although people might disagree, we have leaders who need the same kind of therapy, but they're afraid of what their colleagues would say. They are afraid of what people would think of them. They're even afraid to let it be known that they feel like they need to, because for years we've been taught that we have time to pray for others and we can deal with us later. But right now, what we want to do, the ministers didn't go up to the altar the same time as the people. You know why? Because no matter how you felt as a leader, you had to stand behind all of those people who came up there needing the same thing you need, and you had to be their strength. And you're welcome. You had to be their strength. Forgetting about the fact that you need strength. You need strength, because what happens when you get so depleted, you have nothing left to give. And so many leaders have died an early death because of silent death, because they didn't know how to deal with the emotions that they were feeling on the inside, or they didn't know who they could talk to about what they were feeling on the inside. And, it was that way, like I said, in the days of us coming up as young people, you went to the altar, and no matter what you were up at the altar for, you were told to say Jesus. I don't remember them giving me specific lines saying, Lord, help me love again. Lord, help me be still. Lord, help me. Be careful, it was ice. Lord, help me figure this out. Lord, help me sleep. They just did not do that when we were coming up. All we knew was to call Jesus, and we called him until we were wiped out on that floor, trying to get up, them pushing us back down, saying not yet. This is what we dealt with. And I am not complaining, because it is the reason why I'm still here, was because I believed wholeheartedly in what my leader was saying, even when I did not understand or agree. I went with it because I was a part of someone's ministry, and in being a part of someone's ministry, you are automatically saying, I agree to abide by your rules and regulations. It doesn't say I have to agree with them all. It says I agree to abide by your rules and regulations. And so if this was the doctrine, if this was the way they were teaching, this is where I'm going to church, this is what I'm going to do. When altar call was made, one of the first ones up there at that altar, I don't care how many nights I had to go up there, especially if it was in revival, because, honey, we have revival 7 days a week. This church that we have now, y'all would not survive. And with the way we came up having to go to church. But you're at the altar, and you're just taught to release it all to Jesus, and everything's going to be all right. In today's society, you can't tell somebody just call on Jesus and everything going to be all right. They want to know if you went through it, what happened, why did it take so. They got so many questions. We just did not. That was seen as rebellion in our days. And so in this time and age where so much knowledge is at the hands of us, that they didn't have. And so we have a way to look and see, where this is being said, or where they get this subject from, or where in the scripture does it say this, because we have a more learned people in this hour, and curious people. They they just, you got to give them a little bit more. You got some of them? You got to give them a little bit more. And I appreciate that, because in doing so, I mean, I've never really felt intimidated. I never really felt intimidated, but by people asking questions, I was glad to be able to say, you know what, this is something me and you could do together. Sometimes I didn't give the answer, even though I knew it. I said, this is what we're going to do. Let's both go and look this up and see, when we come back together, let's see if what we find is the same. Because to me, that's both of us growing. I don't have a problem letting somebody know I don't know something. I just don't, because I want answers. And so I'll never get them if I'm afraid to let somebody know I don't know. I say this publicly to the saints. I give credit to where credit is due. I got my niece is the IT person, and I don't act like I know anything. I come to her and say, talk to me like I'm a kindergartner, because I want to know it all, and so what we have done over the years with having to learn one way and now be reprogrammed to another way. Some of us are dying silently because we don't want anybody to know that, oh, well, I'm still here, or I didn't understand that. And so I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to move from this point, because I didn't want to let them know that I know, and pride is going to kill a lot of us. But knowing that my sadness is affecting one of my organs helps me a little more, not completely, I will not say that, but it helps me a little more to be a better manager of my sadness, if that makes sense. Not, being so sad that I become withdrawn, as my bestie and my prophet that God has sent my way said to me not a couple of weeks ago. It's like, you've been withdrawn. I need to know what's going on. And saying I didn't even realize that I had, but I was going through so much, and I was thinking all of it. I wasn't sleeping because my mind was constantly going. And so all of this was affecting my body as it was going through changes, dealing with the emotions that I was dealing with, those matters of the heart, those things that hurt your feeling, those things that hurt your heart, those things that remind you of depression, even grief, if not handled properly, messes with your organs. Now, let me see what else I found here. Headaches can be caused by stress, a loss of control, or a buildup of pressure from unresolved issues. The head, that part that's got your eyes and everything in it, allowing you to see, to hear, to speak. Sometimes we feel like we're doing ourselves the best favor ever by walking away from something or choosing not to deal with it at this present time, because I don't like walking away, but choosing not to deal with it at this present time. And they feel like they did themselves some good, only to find out now you don't cause yourself a whole nother level of stress. And it's a buildup. It says it's a buildup of unresolved issues. You know how many seniors are walking around in our church services with unresolved issues, with just the fact of knowing that the Lord was going to make a way, but they still never dealt with the emotion that was tied to what was done to them years ago. They've been trained so much so to not let it show that what we see or we think we see, oh, they so mean. No, they're not mean. The older you get, the younger you are. What do you mean? The older you get, as you get closer to your senior years, you revert back to your childhood years. This is where people have dementia and Alzheimer's. They're not just choosing to be mean or angry, or intolerable. It is now that today they might be in that day where somebody was doing something to them. And so when you came, that's who they saw. They didn't even know you. They even called you that. That happened to me. My mom would revert back and forth, and she would throw things sometimes, and she would call out names saying, leave me alone or get away. Or, then she found herself defending one of her sisters, and she would say, you're not going to do this to her, and da 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 da. And she would be calling names, and no, I don't care how often I said, but mommy, just trying to get her to hear my voice and register that I'm not them. And eventually it did happen. But just to see that, and bring that to a reality. I've always said it, but when you're smack dab in the middle of it, like I've always told people, when you're dealing with Alzheimer or dementia, that these people are back in their childhood years already. They back into stuff. They're dealing with stuff now that they didn't ever think they would have to. And you just happen to be the audience right now. And so we've got to learn how to have a little bit more patience, because although these patients exist, they still are a soul. They still deserve love and happiness. They still deserve understanding. And so when you start putting all that stuff, yesterday somebody made you mad, so you went to bed without dealing with it. Day before that, somebody told you something you ain't appreciate. So now you got 2 days worth of stuff, including the stuff that's going on in the day that you're in. And it says here that when you have a buildup of unresolved issues, that is one of the sources that your headaches come from. And you will mess around and have a tumor up there. Anything could happen. The face and the jaw, this thing too. Anger can lead to clenching the jaw, and stress can cause tension around the face. They ain't never lied. Anger can lead to clenching the jaw, and stress can cause tension around the face. Facial expressions are a direct physical manifestation of emotion. Say that again. I'm glad you asked. Facial expressions are a direct physical manifestation of emotions. My children and my bestie say to me all the time, your face tell everything. So I had to ask God to help me, because if they can see it, who else is watching this and not understanding what I'm thinking at the time? I could have spaced out, and what you're seeing is the emotions of what is on my mind at the moment and not where we are. And so you want to be careful and mindful of your surroundings, because not all people can handle all things. There are babies. There are all segments in these developmental stages of life that we sit in a church. Just because somebody is 50 years old by number does not mean that they're 50 years old mentally or spiritually. And so keeping that in mind, I'm always keeping it in the minds of those around, that this is something that we need to consider, because our day is coming. Our day is coming. And I don't want anyone to treat me any way other than the good that I'm treating you, I'll give you the last of everything I had. You'll never know what's my last, because I'm going to do what I got to do to make sure you are taken care of. It's what I love to do. I have forever in a lifetime, have always loved being a part of a solution, knowing that it brought happiness, a smile, or satisfaction, anything like that. I've always been that person that's glad to do that. It caused me great hurt sometime, but it's not, God has not changed my heart concerning that. Thank you, Jesus. The heart rate, the chest and the heart. Excitement, fear, and stress can cause irregular heartbeats, palpitations. It can mess with your breathing. Emotions can lead to a faster, shallower breathing or a feeling of a lump in the throat. These emotions. And can you imagine holding all of this in? Years and years of hurts and disappointments and feeling of rejection and abandonment. Oh my goodness. It's just years and years and years, and we're trying to clean it up in a day. It's not going to happen. Which is going to have to deal with our temperance. How long are you willing to go with someone who's in need? How far are you willing to stretch yourself for someone in need? People are dying a silent death. And when I say death, most people talk about the grave. I'm talking about both. I'm talking about cause you to go in the grave under the dirt. And I'm also talking about within, losing you bit by bit, dying inside because of what's not being said, dying inside because of memories of what was, dying inside because I don't know who I can talk to. It's not the same. Everybody's exposing everybody. Who am I supposed to talk to? And I tell people all the time, ask God. 9 times out of 10, he will put that person in your mindset to let you know that this is someone to consider. But but we still have these people, and so now they're dying a silent death through their emotional stance, which is now causing them to die an even earlier death physically. Matters of the heart. The stomach and the gut. Butterflies, a common feeling of nerves and excitement in the stomach. Upset stomach can be linked to fear, anxiety, or stress. Digestion issues, chronic stress can impact the gut and its functions. Chronic stress can impact the gut and its functions. And that is real talk. Been there, done that. It's a real place. It's a real place. Because of the hurt and disappointment that I had experienced in my years, it just, the stress, they was trying to put me on medicine for it. But stress is a killer. It just is. But most of us die without anybody ever knowing that it was there. It's sad. It's sad. And I say to my bestie and others around me, the women that we are meeting with on these occasions, it's bad. And I'm really waiting for the day when the church comes back to church. It should be one big hospital with all kinds of issues in it. Having triage nurses that bring you in singularly and ask you questions to further verify what kind of help you need while you're there. Where is that church? That's the church I'm looking for. That is understanding that in triaging someone, that not everybody is at the same stage. Some people are urgent, some people are emergent. And urgent people, 9 times out of 10, get the short end of the stick in the emergency room because They're not emergent. Emergent means life-threatening. Like this person, you could have been sitting there for 3 hours as an urgent person, and somebody coming in for 5 minutes emergently and supersede you, and you go through all of those emotions in your chair. Some people are more vocal. That has never been me, but I've watched as people flip out because they feel like they are not being taken in right turns. Um, all of those kinds of emotions and flare ups that deal with everyday life affect your body one way or another. Definitely your heart. The heart takes the worst whooping. But what do you do when the pacemaker doesn't even work? What do you do? Blessings, Apostle. What do you do? You know, they have all kinds of things that help the heart function right now. You got the pacemaker, you got stents, you got the catheter. You have all of these things that are done to make sure that your heart can continue to go on and allow you more life. And what happens when that doesn't work? What happens when I had an uncle who was going through dialysis, and what they put in place for him to be able to receive treatment, eventually they had to take it out because tissue started growing all around it and getting entangled in it. What happens when the help really doesn't help anymore? Then what do you do? What do you do? There are so many things that affect your heart. And I think that if we became a better people of heart care, then the rest will work itself out. There are several emotions that I've listed already, and I've read to you how they affect the different organs. I was trying to remember which one messes with your liver. I was trying to find that one out because there is an emotion that connects to your liver. But the heart, matters of the heart. You hurt my feelings. You really did. You hurt my feelings, and you didn't leave the situation making me feel like you even cared. So not only is your heart beating fast because of what happened, it has the double impact of feeling like it didn't matter. The heart. The heart is something that sometimes can take a licking and keep on ticking. And then there's that heart that only had that one opportunity and they died. The heart. Matters of the heart. Even when you are on the ventilator, as long as there's some type of function in your brain, they're going to keep on there. But when that heart is done, it's done. And so are you. And so when I use that analogy, it is because sometimes when we are speaking to individuals, when we are handling individuals, we are not handling them with heart care. We're not handling them with heart care. We're not handling them leaving that situation that says they are better now that I was there than they were when I wasn't. Most times it's a lie. Not a story. It's a lie. My kids be like, Mom, you always call somebody a liar. You lying. You lying. Storytelling is kindergartner. You're a whole grown adult. You're a liar. It took time for you to get from storytelling to being a liar. You don't even have to think about it. Right? So why kick me and then say you didn't mean it? It took a long time for your foot to leave the floor to get to where I am. So some kind of thought process went into that. Where's the heart? Many people risk heart failure because they just want everybody to love like they love. They just want everybody to want to help just like they want to help. They want to know that they have a listening ear just like you have a listening ear, just like they have a listening ear with you. most of my life, I've listened more than being listened to. And that is when I started coming to some of the realities that, so busy trying to take care of everybody else that you left yourself for dead. Who's going to resuscitate you now? Matters of the heart. We have been talking about this for a few weeks now. We've had guests on. We've had my daughter, Assistant Pastor King. We've had my niece, Elder Tanasia. We've had, I don't even know, I'll call her my bearer arms for now. We have had them on as guests. My bestie, as always, the bestest bestie ever, never allows me to fall when it comes to this. We've been here. We've been talking about matters of the heart. We've been talking about ways to make it better. But it's just like sitting in a room and the professor is standing in front of you and they're lecturing. And when you gaze around the classroom, you see that there are some people just sitting there looking at the professor. Others are writing. Some are typing. Others have recorders. So there's all types of students sitting in this one class while the professor is talking. Many ways to do the one thing that is needed, and that is get the message, learn the lesson. Matters of the heart. I don't want open heart surgery. I don't want open heart surgery because that does not always work for everyone. It all depends on your body. What your body has already been through all these years. I'd rather have somebody massage the heart muscles than open it. You understand what I'm saying? I hope so. I hope I'm making sense. I'm telling you because this has really been bothering me. So I've been reading. I read to you how the muscles in the back. Did I say what the muscles in the back? Muscle tension. Stress and worry can lead to tension in the shoulders, neck, and jaw. See, they add more when you start talking about the muscles. Fatigue. That means tiredness. Fatigue. That means weakness. Fatigue. Holding on to resentment can manifest as general fatigue and low energy. My good God, today. Fatigue. All the times I've been at the hospital and the doctor and they talk to you about fatigue. Never have they said resentment could be the cause. Matters of the heart. Ooh, I used to resent people. Thank God for deliverance. I think. Lower back pain. In traditional Chinese medicine, this is sometimes linked to anger or fear. Lower back pain, to which half my nation has. When I say my nation, I mean my family, my crew. Is sometimes, thank God they said sometimes, linked to anger or fear. Because I suffer with back issues, particularly lower back. And I'm trying to think of who I would be that angry with that I would let it affect me like that. Nowadays, not much. Prior to now, probably a whole lot. So I guess so. The skin. Strong emotions like shame can cause blushing or a general flushing of the skin. Your immune system. Chronic stress can weaken the immune system, making you more vulnerable to illness. Y'all, I'm telling you, I'm learning while I'm talking to y'all. Can anyone tell me where trapped emotions are? Where are trapped emotions stored? Where are trapped emotions stored.
Oh, in your mind? Your mind or your heart? Or your soul?
Your what?
Your mind, your heart, or your soul? Which one?
I'm sorry, y'all. I got my bestie in the middle here.
Where?
My bestie should be over here. When a person feels, their emotions can vary. However, a 2021 review notes that the airways, the heart, and the gut. Woo! Somebody taking my breath away, Jesus. The airways, the heart, and the gut. Trapped emotions, which means they just could not find their way out. Nothing you said, nothing that was done gave the relief that was needed. Oh, my Lord. So I'm not going to stay on here much longer. Bessie, you going to say something to us tonight? Your hair looks fine.
You said that.
On a bad day. You got to talk to both of them. And I got this separate from them.
Hello, everybody. Good live tonight. As I listened in, I had some running around that I had to do. Where was it trapped? Did you tell us?
Yes, I said,
Yeah. I didn't hear you.
Y'all, do y'all hear that my bestie wasn't paying me no mind?
Apostle Mira.
Isn't she on there? Apostle Muse on there?
Muse.
Yep. What was I
I
talking
want to
about?
know where they. Your gut, your heart. Your gut, your heart. Your gut.
Yeah, your gut. Your airways.
Oh, your airways.
Your heart and gut.
We learn something new every night.
Every night.
Thank you for being a good audience. Thank you for joining us. And I didn't come on tonight, so I'll be back on next week. I come on every other week, but I had so much to do tonight. But thank you for being a good listening ear.
So she's going to pray us out as we see y'all next week. All right? I'm being obedient. She only gave me an hour, y'all. She cut my time.
You see, I ain't say nothing tonight, right?
It's not even an hour yet.
Father, in Jesus' name, we thank you and we praise you for this time. God, we ask, Father, that you will continue to strengthen us as we continue to learn on matters of the heart. Bless us is my prayer. Bless the founder as always. In Jesus' name, amen.
Love y'all so much. Thank you, leaders. Thank you who came on and were encouraging me as I was watching some of the comments. Thank you for your encouragement. We appreciate you. It is a wonderful thing to know that we are doing something that's worthwhile. See you next week at 9:15 here at Loving the Me IC with Apostle Dr. Juanita Armour and Apostle Elsie Wyatt. Love you.